Hey everybody, welcome to episode 41 of Tactical Crouch, competitive Overwatch podcast featuring some of the smartest people in Overwatch and then a singular guy who knows Photoshop. So, welcome to the show. If you missed the pre-show today, it was short, but it was sweet and awesome, and it included Yiska singing 99, is it Luftballons?
Luftballons, yeah.
Luftballons. Is that like how you properly pronounce it? Help me pronounce this here.
Luftballon.
Luftballon.
Yes, that was very good.
Thank you. Well, my last name is Horstman. It's German for man of the woods.
Yes.
So they call me the man of the woods, is I believe. As I sit in like my LED lit carpeted studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nature focused in your
very much
in your basically as expensive as a house.
You know, so
dollar studio.
There's something that I feel like, so I've been married now for 1.5 years, and Katie and I have been together for 5 years, and there are traits of specific persons that you like absorb into yourself, and then there are also traits of specific people that either they win or you win. So, and by win, I mean like they just take on that trait from you. So I won on a few traits, and the traits that I won is Katie is now a pretty hardcore gamer. She literally comes home, plays WoW all the time. She's addicted to collecting mounts and pets and stuff. It's amazing. I couldn't have asked for more. And she used to love going outside, hiking, all that kind of stuff, rock climbing, and now she's just an indoor person. So those are the two places where I won out. Pretty much everywhere else, I think, she won out. But yeah. So, anyways, fun story time. Anyways, hey guys, good to see you.
Hey.
Of course, myself, KickedTripod, with Volamel and Yiska, big brains. If you missed the pre-show, anyways. Yiska sang 99 Luftballons to the whole stream. So yeah, you should go check that out. I don't think we can post it anywhere else. I might try to sneak it in at the end of the audio version. We'll see.
Faint whispers.
We'll see if we can make it happen. Other than that, though, before we get started, quick housekeeping. Show is supported 100% by our patrons. Not 100% right now, but close to 100% with our next Patreon goal. If you like the show and want to support, you can do so. It's really easily. $5 a month. You get some cool perks. We're going to be doing 2 game nights here in July, which we got to get together and do. We're probably going to do one in the next week to 10 days. And then we'll do one at the end of the month as well. So we're going to be doing a game night, which is going to be awesome. We've got some other perks like a Tactical Crouch Discord channel and Yiska's Discord, where all the patrons and subs can meet and hang out, ask questions, chat, make fun of everybody else who doesn't have that role, which surprisingly actually is a thing. Otherwise, make sure to follow the show. You can subscribe on Twitch as well. That's also great. And then, yeah, follow us on Twitter at Tactical Crouch. We record live on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, that's it. News. Kooky has retired. I'm surprised Yiska doesn't have a song prepared for this one.
I mean, what would it be? Dude, writing a piece about him retiring, it was really hard to not sound like a dick. Let's be honest, like, if a player hasn't, like, Cookie has just been there for the most part, right? He wasn't outstanding in MVP. He wasn't outstanding with Soul. The thing about him was that he spoke the best English on that roster.
Yeah.
And on Valiant, once again, like, the outstanding thing or the abnormal thing or the noteworthy thing was that he started ahead of Custer on Lucio. That's, I'm sure I'm not being totally fair to his career, and I'm sure he had good performances, but man, that's what
it'll be known for, is you started over Custa on Lucio and your team is bad. And now they're not. and you've retired. Like, I hope he finds, you know, whatever he's looking for, but not the most interesting career ever. Pretty vapid, pretty boring, pretty non-eventful. Not somebody that we're going to remember, you know, 20, 30 years down the road, like, oh yeah, you know, the most interesting. No, not at all. One of the most like lackluster players' careers ever. Like, promise, had potential. I don't think he ended up where he needed to be.
So that was going to be my next question, is I feel like going into Seoul Dynasty in season 1 is kind of like it's almost a sign off as, hey dude, you're on the New York Yankees. And when you're a Yankee, Yiska, you're a Yankee. I don't know, like what Real Madrid. It's like if you get signed to Real Madrid, I guess that's like the soccer equivalent that I can think of. I don't know, that might be old now. I don't know if like Arsenal's better or something, but you know, once you're signed to the Yankees, you're a Yankee, man. You're set for life kind of thing. And I feel like Kooky just kind of never really found that potential there. And that probably could be said about quite a few season 1 Seoul Dynastyers. But yeah, Kooky is just kind of like, I had to double check and be like, Kooky was on the Seoul Dynasty in season 1. So I don't know. It's going to be missed, though. It's always, I think, hard to see kind of the old guard of, you know, the keepers of Korean Overwatch kind of go into Overwatch League and then leave. But speaking of temporary lives, Crystal on leave of absence from the Spark to visit an ill relative in China. It's not going to be long, not going to be permanent. Wanted to bring that up. No specific thoughts here, but we do probably need to talk about last week's games. So Atlanta Homestand. Besides the lighting on the analyst desk, Joe, what'd you think about the Atlanta Homestand?
Oh, you know me and my lighting fetish. I was pretty underwhelmed going into it, and was pretty underwhelmed. I don't know. Kind of fell pretty similar. The Charge Shanghai game was kind of interesting to see how that kind of shifted out. Charge possibly on an upswing, maybe leading, foreshadowing might, something that might happen in stage 4. Maybe they come out, if there's going to be a big meta shift, like with this reported 222 stuff, maybe they do well. Happy's finally coming into his own, and that was really cool. But other than that, a lot of brief glimmers of hope from some of these teams. Toronto going against NYXL, that was one of my games to watch. It looked okay sometimes for Toronto, and then it would just kind of fall apart, and they never could kind of catch back into the rhythm. It still felt like a team trying to find their footing. A lot of just very generic problems, bubble timings, ultimate timings. They have the style, they have the roster to be able to beat a team like New York Excelsior, but again, they're still trying to find that team cohesion, that team coordination. A little passive for my taste, especially on control. But all in all, I think there's promise there. I think there's potential. Don't know what Florida's doing. Like, all in all, like, Atlanta was, I'm happy that, there was butts in seats. That's always good. Silver linings. Like,
yeah,
Dallas wasn't a flash in the pan. It was, there is some interest in this. The more that we see these events kind of take place, the more it's reinforced that, hey, there is a want for these live events, and there are people willing to come out and dress up and buy merch and, be supportive. So that's always a good sign going into next year.
I think that's the biggest thing I took away. I think overall, yes, the games were underwhelming. But the actual event itself, I felt like was actually really great. I saw tons of people on my timeline having a blast. The production value, again, you got to light the analyst desk better. Holy cow. It's like they're in the middle of a forest, children of the corn. So, yeah. So besides that, though, it felt great. There was some production hiccups, which I don't blame anybody for when you're traveling around and doing this thing like 3 times a year. I get it. But besides that, I was really happy with it. The crowd definitely, there was something that you definitely noticed and that the crowd loved their team. And I think so, something that I put a bet on is that Toronto is going to beat Atlanta Reign. But I did not account for one thing, and this was an important thing, and probably my oversight, is that DeFran could show up at any moment in any sort of mascot suit. And if that happens, that totally changes the answer for me,
Oh.
Right? Because once DeFran, he comes out in a Phoenix costume, and what are you going to do?
What do you do?
What do you do?
How do you beat that?
That team doesn't lose to the Titans. That team doesn't lose to NYXL. They just need to put DeFran in a Phoenix suit more often.
Is that the secret?
Here's some leaked information. Apparently, he almost threw this into something. I think, did they have fireworks or something? Like when he took the head off? Like that thing apparently almost started burning, and it was quite close. That would have been
throw it into the lights.
I don't know what it was
because I know that
because he took the thing off. He must have thrown it or something.
Yeah. Let me see if I can
find the clip.
Oh, while the pyro was going, so that thing almost caught fire. Yeah.
Well, makes sense.
Let's go, dude. Evacuate the venue. Let's go, dude.
You know what they say about yelling, "Let's go, dude," in a crowded theater, right, Yiska?
What do they say?
Big socks. Yep. That's what they say.
Yep.
All right. Are we going there? Okay.
Fair enough. Anyways, it was, I don't know. I really enjoyed the event. I enjoyed watching it. The games, again, about went how I think we expected to.
Yeah.
However, Guangzhou did defeat Shanghai 3-1. Anyone call that one?
No. That one, I don't think anybody was going to call that, seeing how they got mollywopped the week before, 3-1 by Shanghai, and then turn around immediately and pop off like that. That was pretty surprising. Hard to call. There wasn't much promise last week, and coming into this week, what really changed? It felt like Happy was more present. They were playing around him a little bit more. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm happy about it, but no pun intended, but it was bizarre to say the least to see them flip the script on Shanghai, who are looking good coming into the playoffs, which I'm sure we'll get into, but not a team that you can kind of sleep on. So Charge beating them is kind of a statement.
Yeah, it's also a rematch, right? So it's the second rematch actually that Shanghai loses this stage. So they had wait, who was it? It was definitely Shanghai. No, it was the second team, and they basically it's quite interesting to see that maybe there's something predictable about their style, or they just don't take the opponents seriously, or there's just a lot of variance day to day in their play style. But let me see. So they lost against the Valiant initially, and then lost in week 1. They won against them, and then lost in week 3. And once again, they won in week 4, but lost in week 5. So maybe there is something going on there that we need to keep an eye on, or just in reality, let's be honest, day-to-day level of play, how the team feels, if someone's sick, how does everything click. There are definitely days where you're on and when you're not. Teams like Charge live and die by widow performances on some maps, for instance. At the moment, you can be on and off on those. So, or teams figure something out, have a breakthrough, because improvement is not a line, right? It's more like a rocky hill, and sometimes you even get worse for a bit because you learn something that isn't true and isn't helping you win games, and then you get an explosion again. So maybe that's happening. It's just a small sample size, but like we gotta look out for these patterns, I think.
But I also think that like Charge is a very flexible roster. They have a little bit of their own flair to them. Kibbs kind of sat on the bench, being a very flexible player. You have Hotba kind of, building a lot of respect. I think people were kind of over, I don't know, I shouldn't say people. I was kind of over the fact that like, oh, Hotba's Tracer this, Hotba's Tracer that. It's hard to ignore him when he has these kinds of performances. Rio the same way, especially early on in the season, coming in and having pretty proficient performances on Hammond and showing multiple different tanks. Like this is a very flexible roster, and now that we're seeing the meta kind of shift on its own before these big changes, this big overhaul comes in, I think that's definitely helped the Charge. I shouldn't say help. They're pushing the Charge in the right direction to find their own style, so that it isn't just GOATs, because they were never a fantastic GOATs team. They started early. I think people pulled way farther ahead of them that they didn't really kind of keep up with the middle of the pack. But now that things are changing, the landscape's shifting a little bit, I think the Charge have the kind of the ingredients to this new meta and have it on lock. I really think they do. I think they're incredibly flexible. I think they can play a lot of different stuff. It's hard to prepare for them. I don't think they're as innovative as Chengdu,
nice
if that's the correct word. Because I don't want to say wacky and wild, because I'm kind of over that with the Hunters. But they can be, right. They can come out and play the Doomfist. They can come out and play different stuff. They can play standard somber goats. They can play goats. It's not great, but gone are the days they're the goats mirrors. It's a lot of bunker here, bunker there, double snipers. You finally get to use some of your star players and have them come out and put on a performance, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. I mean, so I do want to ask you guys about the Toronto Defiant. And we're switching gears slightly, but I will say this. So Toronto went 1-7 in map counts over the weekend, and they went 0-7 in this stage. But I have to say, this weekend did not look like an 0-17 to me. They looked, you saw Magnitude. I thought Magnitude looked really strong. I thought, I really thought Gods was going to play a little bit better, but still felt like Gods was definitely a big factor. Like, are we looking at a Defiant ready to turn the corner, or are they?
I think so. I think given the break and given the proposed shakeup, I think they'll come into stage 4 coupled with a pretty easy schedule. Like, we can look at that real fast. I know that we've talked about it at kind of ad nauseum before, but the Defiant don't have a terribly hard schedule this next stage. July 26th, they play against Washington. They face London, again, somebody who's not been super consistent, but we have to always keep in mind that 222 lock could definitely change that. They have a ton of star power potential. They're very, very scary team if things go their way. Depends on if that does or not. Shanghai, very much the same way, especially with the addition of Envy really coming into his own. I think Asombra has definitely improved from his days on Defiant. I think that whole roster looks to be quite powerful. Philly, we'll see what happens with them in 222. Things are looking better. They have Florida, Seoul. It's not terribly hard. So do I think that they're going to have another 0-7 stage? Probably not, no. I think that I don't know exactly where the roster's headed. I don't know if they're going to go fully Western. I don't know if they're going to continue being mixed. But one thing that has remained constant for me is Neko's performance. I'm really getting, and this is going to sound very bizarre, I'm getting high on Neko so much more than I have been in the past. When you looked at Boston, he was there. But now I think you're starting to see him be a little bit more flexible. He's coming out on the Roadhog. He's coming out on the Ana. He's playing Zenyatta on a team that is 0-7 and is a giant standout. And I think that's a marker of a very talented player, a very skilled player. And that's somebody that they're going to have to build this roster around if they want to succeed. that is a star player right there in my eyes. I think he's really starting to come into his own and just be just a standout. His performance, especially against NYXL, I thought was really, really good. The hook timing with the main tanks, him and Yakpung timing, just super on sync. Bio-nades are on point. Zen performance obviously has always been really good. Like, I'm all about Neko. Like, Baroy used to talk about him all the time before he was with the Defiant. Was super high on him. Statistics, this, blah blah blah. Math, I don't know. I don't speak that language, but I'm starting to see the light. He was always like up there with like Aim God, you know, battling back and forth. He's really pulling ahead for me.
Trivia time. Do you know who in season 1 stated that Neko was the most underrated player in Overwatch League?
Pretty sure it was you.
That's right. That's right. So therefore, because you're saying this now, you're validating what I said. That's exactly how logic works. Yiska can back that up, by the way. So
he's a man of logic.
He's a man. All he does is logic, except when he plays TFT and just tries to throw Ludens on a Kali for 3 hours straight and gets 1 second place. But besides that,
Shade throne.
Besides that, no, so I totally agree, because I felt that Neko was a huge piece to Boston's success in season 1, but he never really got like the credit of it, because there was just kind of this like, you had some fragging Zenyatas in season 1, I guess is what, you had Jonak, obviously. Like I say this all the time, and people think that I think that Sleepy is as good a Zenyatta as Jonak. He's not, but he clicks heads pretty well, especially for a team that was middling last season.
Yeah.
So Neko for me has always been a really solid player, and kind of overall play style is kind of uninspiring. And I just I love seeing him get some credit for the type of player that he is, because I think he's an amazing player overall.
Yeah.
But he's just he's not a POV you want to watch, right? And that's changing a little bit, as you have kind of stated, which is great. But
as it should, yeah, definitely somebody that I think that the Defiant need to push a little bit more to be that star player, to be their kind of career guy. I think they've got a nice, not diamond in the rough. I think people are starting to realize that he is kind of a precious gem that you can kind of hold on to. I think, again, to kind of reiterate back onto the point, like they need time. The amount, on control against NYXL, the bubble timings, are just not there. Yakpung's taking way too much damage for no reason, but there also are really, really good portions where their, AIDS timing is really good on booping Nene into the team, and they get a free pick there, and, they play off of that really well. So there is, these instances of, wow, okay, this looks like an improvement, but then you go on to Village and you just give NYXL the point for free when you're playing a pressure composition, and you're not kind of punishing them as they approach. Like there are these, they just need time. I think they just need time to gel, to figure out, where they're headed, where everybody is, the synergy. It's such a cop out answer, but I think that's probably the most likely situation, if that makes sense, that it's not a matter of skill. I don't like when you have, this meta is still so much about teamwork, in my opinion. It's much less so than I think just the strict GOATS meta. You still can have these DM, Carpe level performances, happy performances, but I still think it's so much about teamwork. In Toronto, flying in new players, seemingly week by week, it's going to take them some time to figure that stuff out, and to kind of have that, ESP kind of level, planning and know where everybody is at all times, and know what the game plan is, know the win conditions, and execute on them properly. It's going to take some time, and I think stage 4 is a great morale boost, and hopefully they can even push into wildcards. I don't know exactly how likely that is, but we'll see. There's a chance, at least.
Toronto pushing into wildcards?
Yeah, let me look at.
So they're 18th right now, 7-14. It's 12 through 7th, right? Who for the play-ins?
Let me look. Let's see.
We're looking at this right now. So I know.
See.
Yeah.
7 to 12.
Asuka, it should have been changed. Oh, actually, it should not have been. Sorry. Fixed it. Thank you.
Direct seeds, and then 7 to 12 are the play-in teams.
7 to 12 are the play-in teams. So you've got 6 play-in
8
teams.
to 12, right? No, 9 to 12. Sorry. Right?
Liquipedia says 7. I don't...
9,
sure.
10, 11, 12 for play-ins. Pretty sure.
Liquipedia says 7 to 12.
Yes.
It's top 8, right? For playoffs?
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna figure this out because we cannot be wrong on this one. Overwatch.
Yes. Wait.
League Liquipedia. Overwatch League. Here we go. Season 2. Playoffs. Nothing there. Okay, come on. Come on, Liquipedia.
Well, 7 to 12 place teams in the standings will also have chance to qualify for the playoffs. But let me see.
I thought 7 through 12 played for points or for positions 7 and 8. That's what I thought.
I'm so confused now. I have no idea.
Of course. Yeah. I'm dumb. Yeah. It has to be 7 and 8 because 7 and 8 used to be the thing, and then there's only 2 last in there, and it's definitely an 8-team playoff. So, in order to be for it to be an 8-team playoff, 6 need to auto qualify, and 2. What is definitely the case is that 2 qualify through the play-ins, and for that to be true, it would need to be 7th to 12th. Yes.
Let the record show on this day, on July 9th, 2019, John was right. Yiska was wrong. And the universe fell out of balance. And we didn't know what to do. We didn't even know what to like. Do you host now? And then do I provide the analysis?
Yeah.
Is that
probably a good idea today? Pretty scatterbrained.
All right. Fair enough. So yeah. So anyways, 7 through 12 play for a play-in for the 7th and 8th seeds there.
Yes.
Right now, as it looks, the Toronto Defiant are -22 in map differential. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th are -11 map differential, and they're 2 wins behind. So they've got 9 wins and 12 losses versus 7 wins and 14 losses. Meaning the Toronto Defiant would need to probably go 5-2 or 6-1 in the next stage and outpace a good amount of people and do well in map differential and only and have a strong map differential overall.
Yeah. I mean, it's a problem for them, certainly.
It's an outside shot, but it also is kind of cool because that means that, honestly, because it's not, they play Seoul Dynasty twice, they play Shanghai Dragons, I believe, once. There's a lot of these mid-tier, I think they play the Fusion once as well. There's a lot of these mid-tier teams that you need to beat in order to like have any chance anyway in stage 5. So if they are able to beat them with this 2-2-2 change, you can make the argument that they've earned it.
Yeah.
Because they're stage 5, in my opinion, if they win. They do have a few like gimmies. I think they've got a Mayhem and a Justice match in there.
For stage 4?
For stage 4, I believe.
Washington, week 1, London.
Justice,
Yep, Shanghai, Philly, Florida, Seoul. Then we've got
so they've got Justice in Florida
Mayhem again. Yep.
And they've got Mayhem twice. Or sorry, they've got Florida or no.
Yep. Mayhem twice.
Mayhem twice. They've got Seoul twice as well, I believe. Or did I misread that?
Just one soul, looks like.
99, na, 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 na. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you're right. Soul Dynasty in week 3.
But by the way, one crazy thing, I'm not sure who made me aware of this, but it would have been possible. So the Philadelphia Fusion are 4-3 at -3 map score, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they win against the Shanghai Dragons, they would have been, depending on the map score, but somewhere around 5-2 at a map score of 0. How do you do that, dude? Like, just completely getting smashed when you're getting smashed and then narrowly winning out, of course. But it's still, like, so unheard of in a sense, right? Like, most of the time you're like +5 at the minimum, 5-2.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Right. Well, like, I mean, if you go back to, like, stage 2, it happened. I mean, you had Shanghai they made stage playoffs at just an even map difference.
4 and 3. Yeah. Oh, at -1. Okay.
And -1. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that is insane.
I think there was an article that I was reading that mentioned that Spark, I think, is the only team, granted in the short Overwatch League history, the only team to make stage playoffs with a negative map difference. Yeah.
No, it's pretty nuts.
I don't know if that's true, but it's interesting.
Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what matters, folks. If it sounds good.
Yeah, that is basically how.
I mean, it's pretty easy to see. So, stage 3, that's not true. Stage 2, Hangzhou Spark, -1.
Yes.
Shanghai Dragons, 0.
I cannot get over that, what Joe just said. Like, if it sounds cool, then it's true. Is that our modern?
That's the Tactical Crouch motto. It's actually in the Tactical Crouch seal. Says if it sounds good, it's true.
It's like in philosophy, there's like this branch of philosophy called epistemology, and it's basically it concerns the source of knowledge. So it looks at what we like, how we can perceive truths, and what are the axioms of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To say it's true because it sounds nice. It's revolutionary. You might be that's a completely new sentence. You just made that up.
Did I? Very cool.
Revolutionized philosophy right here.
I think that's becoming more and more, important. I think you are very aware of this. That if it's cool, if it's emotional, if it's dramatic, then it's true.
Yeah.
To somebody, it's true. Not for everybody, but to somebody, that is true.
That's also how we get more views on our YouTube. Is just
exactly.
Say Atlanta Homestand sucks. Whoa.
To somebody, that's true.
Last week.
They agree, and that's validation for them.
Yep, gets it. All right. Volamel's Rule of Cool.
I like that.
I'll make that shirt.
You need to be careful. Don't stroke that ego.
$350 on Patreon, and we'll make that shirt. Volamel's Rule of Cool. It'll be him wearing sunglasses, going like this. Yeah, it'll be great. Anyways, let's talk about the upcoming matches. So we do have the playoffs coming up.
Yes, I'm interested to see what people have to say about this.
Yeah, so playoffs are coming up. They're going to be starting on Thursday, July 11th at 6 p.m. and Friday, July 12th at 6 p.m. Saturday, they're playing at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. PST? Ooh.
Yeah, this is all PST, by the way.
Ooh, 10 o'clock my time? That's late.
Have they normally done that?
I don't know. That seems really late. Maybe that's just late. Me.
I don't remember it being that late.
Yeah.
And then
I think it was always late, and it was.
Was it? Oh,
I think so.
Maybe I'm just not. It's not clicking.
And then Sunday at 1 p.m. So let's talk about these top 4 matches. We're gonna just go right down.
Can we talk about how good some of these are?
Yeah,
much better than the Atlanta Homestand.
In general,
literally two ends of the pendulum swing.
Yeah.
So first, the homestands are always going to be kind of weaker because they're in the season. So you have seasonal mindset teams. We have to play for the field. We're not playing specifically for the team. That's where you get your amazing matches. Is where it's I'm playing Yiska's team, and I know how Yiska's team plays, and I just have to beat them to advance. That's where you get some really cool stuff coming out. That's when you really get to see how good these teams are at preparing, how good the coaching staff is. That's exciting. That's some cool stuff. The seasonal stuff, it is what it is. All the maps matter, but do they really though? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Head on head, that's some fun stuff.
It's like really the most fun for me is condensed in these stage playoffs. Like, because the best teams come together. Dude, we've dodged so many big name matches this stage, right? We didn't have Shock Titans. Like, the thing is, next stage is actually probably the best stage I'd argue we ever had in Overwatch League history in terms of the matchups we're getting, if our current power rankings are true. So
that's the question.
That is the big question. Like, for instance, if we go to Vancouver Titans, right? They start out with Shanghai, good match. Florida, okay. Then they Justice, okay, that's all. But then the end streak is London, who we can expect to be good in 2-2-2. Philly, who we can expect to be good in 2-2-2.
Maybe.
Week 4 off, and then the last week in LA at the homestand, they have Shock and NYXL. So in terms of that, like, Titans has an amazing schedule left. Shock starts out with Seoul Dynasty, then Los Angeles Gladiators, then Shanghai, forget about Dallas, Chengdu, and then Titans and Valiant. So that is a bomb stage, if our current power rankings are true. NYXL, Gladiators, okay, Paris and Chengdu, even though Chengdu in 2-2-2 might be interesting. Then Spark, then Charge in 2-2-2. And then Boston Uprising, but again, Titans. Like, we have so many big matches in stage 4 that it's actually crazy. Like, we were at an all-time low this season in terms of the homestand in quality of matches, but we're now exploding into a home streak till the playoffs. Basically, every day, every match day till September, we will have a great match a day. And assuming nothing changes, right? So I prophesize the golden age of Overwatch. I hope 2-2 doesn't cut into that. But I think if there is one this season, then it starts right now, like right this weekend.
So I agree that on paper, without considering the overall league standings, the quality of match should be really high in stage 4, but aren't a lot of teams already all but confirmed for season playoffs?
Sure.
Do you think we see NYXL 2.0? Obviously, we could throw around sandbagging, right? And I honestly, like, I have never known a competitive person in the world to play at that high of level who just is like, you know what, we don't need to win, so we're not going to win. I've never known somebody.
It's very rarely that's like the correct play.
To do it.
Yeah.
But do you think that there may be a little less overall competition because these teams are... All right, Joe. Fine. Sorry. You answer me. Tell me why, dude.
I don't. If it was any other situation, then I might agree. I might say, maybe there are going to be teams that phone it in. They've already got their seed. They have their direct seed. It doesn't really matter to them where they finish. But because reportedly the game is going to be basically overhauled for this stage, I think they're going to take what they can get in terms of practice, and that practice on stage with this new meta, with these new players coming in, because again, these rosters that we're seeing now are built for GOATs. Yes, we're seeing more diversity in the rosters with, how the meta is shifting right now, but 2-2-2 is drastic. You're going to see new players being injected into these rosters because teams are going to have to try and figure out where their footing, where their style is in this meta, what the meta is. I think everybody's going to be busting their butt to try and figure out what even is Overwatch at this point. And I think these match days are going to be just as much practice as, going home and scrimming for 8 hours a day. I think this is going to be really important for them, especially going into the seasonal playoffs. And I don't think we're going to have too many people sleeping on the job.
My problem with all of this is that we don't have a stage playoff in stage 4.
Sure.
So, like, for instance, even if I was thinking, okay, so maybe the Mayhem are currently preparing their new players for the new meta, and they're trying to do the Dallas thing that they did, like disappointing season, but in stage 4 redemption playoff run. They won't have that opportunity to show up in the playoffs because there are none, right? So that kind of takes the hype away, even though I understand why that had to happen. At the same time, yeah, I wish just because playoffs are easily the best format, it would have also given us a cool primer into the season playoffs. Because once again, we only have 7 matches to rate teams, right? And then we have the play-in tournament where we get a more thorough look at these 7 to 12 spot. We don't get an overly thorough look into the power level of these top teams, even though, as we outlined earlier, pretty good schedule. Lucky in that regard, probably, depending on how these teams shape up in this meta. But yeah, man, I wish we had stage players for this, just because of these cool redemption arcs that we got last season.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, let's talk about some of these matches here, because there's some good ones. Let's start with Outlaws versus Titans. Maybe this one isn't as good, but maybe it is. And as always, whenever we are getting going, we need to talk about who we think we are going to win. And I gotta say, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go straight over to the Titans here. I don't even have any sweet analysis for this. I just don't see a world in which the Houston Outlaws can push the Vancouver Titans.
Yep. Like if the Titans came out, who did they show really well? Like if the Titans come out in week 4 and they play the Gladiators close and they can't adapt to Sombra and they haven't shown any adaptation from their loss against Valiant, then I'd be able to give Houston some sort of credit here because they have looked better this stage.
Sure.
But the Titans come out, they level up, they show to be very proficient on this other style, and 4-0 the Gladiators. I think Houston should be complete light work, and this is 4-0.
And this is kind of the point, right? The Titans are second seed, and I believe they're Pacific Division, so they have the number 1 seed for their region or division, and then NYXL has the number 1 seed for theirs. So with that being said, I just don't see a world. I don't have Yiska, any other further analysis on this one, or can we just move on?
I don't think it will be a blowout. I think it won't be close, but I think
it won't be a blowout. Is in one of those close 3-1s.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
not as close, but I think 3-1 is realistic.
Where do you think that?
Oh wait, what are we playing? It's true. We're playing best of 5s.
So
4-0. It cannot be.
It can't be a 4-0, right? It'd be a 3-0.
So it would be a 3-0. I think a 3-1. Yeah, that's what's happening.
I think 3-1 makes most sense. A juicy one. Thanks, Mineral. We always bring you the hot takes here on Tactical Crouch. Let's talk about game 2 then, because this one I think is, man, is it more interesting or is it not?
I think this is way more interesting.
Shanghai Dragons coming in at 5-2 +5 map differential, going up against the number 1 seed NYXL. 7-0 +16 map differential. So, Joe, you think this one's more interesting? Tell us why.
When you look at New York's schedule, let's take a look, right? New York's schedule this stage has been pretty easy, right? You start off 3-2 against Houston. That's a bit of a head turner. Then you go and lose a map against Paris. You 4-0 London, which is fair, to be typical. Then you've got dropping 2 maps to to Dallas. You tie against Florida. I'm not sure that New York's going to beat Shanghai. If anything, I'm taking Shanghai in this matchup. I think they're a little bit more defined on what they want to play. New York still, especially in their match against Toronto, they're not playing Sibyolbi on Sombra. Why is that? I don't know. They've been, we've heard stirrings that this is kind of their style that they're going with. They're rotating people in and out. Is New York, are they confident in what they're doing so far? I don't think so. I don't think that I don't think they figured out who exactly they want to play on Sombra. I think they're still trying to figure out their style. I think Shanghai has a little bit more potential. I think they're a little bit more comfortable on what they're playing with the DPS compositions on Control. They're putting DM on Snipers. They're putting Ding on Pharah. I like that a little bit more than where New York is right now. I think this is going to be a 5-game set. It's going to go all the way. I think this is 3-2 Shanghai.
All right.
Not confident, not super confident in Sabiolbi yet. Again, he's been improving. I said that last show. I still stick by it. Things have been looking better. Not better enough. That's not a sentence. That's not grammatically correct, but that's what I said.
It sounds cool, though.
And that's why it's true.
Not better enough. All right, Yiska, what about you? Any hot takes? Are you taking Joe's side here with Shanghai?
Dude, like I'm all on the train that NYXL is not as good as dude, it hurt. Like I put them 3 in my power rankings. I really didn't want to. I really would.
There's no chance they're 3rd. I don't think they're
wanted to put them 4th, but they're 7-0. They're not losing against the teams that they get from the schedule. Some of them weren't as terrible, so you can't fault them for that.
But their loss, their victories are so close, dude, sometimes.
Like the match against Dallas, I'm confident that at least Sabiolbi, but probably also Manu had the 2 worst. Like those 2 had the worst matches of their career, at least in the first couple of maps. Unreal bad, atrocious. So they recovered. I will also say I very much enjoyed their performance against Spitfire. Seemingly, those always have great games, and there's a quality when 2 teams play at a high level. I think also against NYXL, Spitfire played their best Overwatch in a long time, right? But to see NYXL capable of that was pretty cool to see. I'm not going for the hot take. I think that's a 3-1.
3-1 New York, you're saying?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't trust your New York power rank predictions anymore. Last time you were like, Yiska hit that Valiant one. I gotta try something. God. Toronto's going to take them, dude. Don't forget.
I didn't say that Toronto was going to take them. I said there was not a not 0 chance that Toronto could beat them. I still gave it to New York. I said this might be a little bit closer. It ended up not being that close. That's fine. Still was correct in saying New York was going to win.
I gotta watch that episode again. I think it was yeah. All right. But it sounds cool that that I pretended what you said was Toronto was going to win. So
yeah, it sounds real cool.
You basically got that totally wrong. Here we go.
That was an uncool prediction. You're right.
All right. Let's look at this next one then. Shall we? Oh, by the way, I pick NYXL. I'm just not. Listen, I'm just not an idiot.
Not feeling cool today.
But Joe is always right about these things. Seoul Dynasty SF Shock. This is funny. Or this is not funny, but this is a good one here. San Francisco Shock, 5-2. 23-8 plus 15 map differential going up against the Seoul Dynasty, 5-2, 12 map differential. Close one here. Yiska, I'm going to let you go first here on this one, man. Who you got? Seoul Dynasty, SF Shock.
This is hard, man. Like I think
these last 2 are actually really hard.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I put them 5th and 6th in my power ranking. Yeah. So I think Shock are in a bit of a identity crisis. Their old goats doesn't work anymore. I don't think it's a problem that they can't play DPS. They obviously can. They're super stacked. They still have Strike and Architect locked and loaded if anything was to happen, right? And I'm sure one of them also practiced these. Yeah, I find the Baptiste, I don't know. I'm not a fan. And to me, it's a way to mask, for me, the one obvious weakness. And I'm not sure how pronounced this will be in the playoffs because I'm hearing different things. But the way Sombra Goats was played and the way the support line played around Sombra Goats was the Lucio stands back and tries to get beat off after the EMP pops. I think Moth is pretty good at this. But the problem really for me has been Violet's Ana performance. I'm not convinced he can even play that hero to a top level. I haven't seen a top level performance on him. I'm not sure if it's necessary to play Ana, but that has been, or that looked like the obvious weakness for me. I don't want to pin it on the player because there's, of course, a fundamental misunderstanding how to play into Sombra and how to move, how to rotate. And that is certainly also a problem. But if we want to give the people something to hold on to, definitely watch out how much Violet is playing Ana and how he is playing Ana. And if he improved leaps and bounds, well, we now know why Shock's probably going to do better. If not, we probably know why they fell from grace and aren't the best team in the world anymore.
So who wins?
Yeah, right? I'm like,
yes, sir. Let me ponder this and stroke my beard.
I'm going to put this into the ethereal spot I put on my my graphic. Thanks.
See, so with all of that criticism, you still say 3-2 Shock.
Yeah, but because my strategy is to talk as long as possible until you two gentlemen, with your proven to be dodgy memory, forget what your own question was, so I don't have to commit to a series where it's very hard to predict the winner. But I will say 3-2 Shock.
It boggles me how you can criticize them that entire time.
It's easy because they were the best
Go ahead.
team in the world. They were the best team in the world, and there has to be a reason why they lost now 2 games this stage, also against teams you wouldn't expect them to lose.
And that just fixes itself.
The thing is, dude, Dynasty is like we're playing a game of die, basically. It's like, oh, yeah, the coaches are in the morning are like, okay, oh, that's our starting 6. Okay, halftime. Okay, yeah, okay, Fisher in. You, oh no, that was a 2. Okay, Michelle, you go in. Okay, this is what it looks like. Not really, because there's some.
There's got to be some method to the method. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah. Also, if there is a method to this chaos, I wonder what excluding Fissure from this equation does to their rotations and to the specific play styles. Maybe I have to confess I haven't kept up with all their rotations and permutations. If Fissure always played with specific people and these guys would have to relearn to play around a new player. So yeah, I'm not sure. Certainly that weighs into the. It's a little lazy. It's a little narrative focused, right? Fissure, the guy is out, and now we are looking
Marvel.
If anything happens there, but no, I think also in general, Seoul Dynasty for me are a team that consistently betrays their potential. Whenever you think, oh, the Dynasty, oh, are they coming? Are they a top 5 team? Okay, let's see. Here's the one team that they need to beat, and then we can commit and say, oh yeah, they finally arrived. Nope, always lose that series. Also not close, get absolutely trounced. We're like, okay, where are they in this limbo? Like, and that's a problem I have with Seoul. Also notoriously bad in playoff games, other than
the New York game.
The New York game, yes.
Yes.
All right, Joe.
I mean, you're swaying me a little bit. I like the analysis on Violet. I definitely take your word for it. Have not been, setting him under the microscope. But what I have seen from Soul is the antithesis of what you're saying to Shock, and that's something that I've always held onto quite heavily is this flexibility in this metagame at the moment, right? These last few weeks, we've really started to see shifts happen. I like Soul here because they've shown that they're a little bit more comfortable playing the DPS. They're playing snipers here, snipers there. San Francisco, I feel like, needs to make a not a roster overhaul, but they have to bring in new people that I don't necessarily think that they'd be comfortable with. I think to Violet's, point, to your point around Violet, I think Soul still makes up for that. Jaehong obviously has the, an Ana that is timeless. His Zenyatta's gotten better. Not really that big on Marvel myself, but I genuinely feel like Soul's a little bit more flexible here. I think this is another 5-game set, but I have to give it to Soul specifically just because of these last few weeks and how colorful the metagame has been. When you look at the regular season, yes, San Francisco comes out, bodies Soul, no questions asked, but I think things have changed since then. I think Soul's gotten better at preparing, and I'm going to give it to them. This one's a little bit hotter. Yiska has swayed me a little bit, but I still think this is going to be a close one. 5-game either way. And I've got Soul taking it. I've got Soul through 2.
Yeah, so I respect what both of you are saying. I think it's going to be a tie. I think it's just straight 50-50 tie. They don't go on. Nobody wins. Given that that's not an option, I do think San Francisco wins this. They lost their 2 matches in stage 4 against the giant killer Atlanta Reign, and then the stage giant killer in the Houston Outlaws. Right? Both teams who probably outplay their better opponents in stage 3. Soul still looks good. I mean, you just walk through it. They body London 4-0. I lied to you. They lost to Atlanta Reign and then lost to Chengdu, who is just as much of a giant killer, probably at this point. They body the Uprising. They body the Mayhem. Okay, that's not hard to do. They lose to the Shot, or they lose to the Outlaws. Body Soul. Beat the Reign 3-2. That's where it was. I mean, I don't know. Like I see a team here that probably looks fine. When the match is on the line, I think they look fine. And I don't think that this is anything to be worried about for the Shock. I think Shock are going to win. And I think they're going to do it 3-1. I don't think it'll be the closest 3-1 in the world, but it won't be like a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
All right. You can go ahead and take that for what it's worth. Match number 4, LA Valiant versus the Hangzhou Spark. I didn't know if we would actually ever say that sentence. In the stage playoff, LA Valiant and Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah. And we're all excited.
Yes.
Because this is a rematch, my dudes. And I know
what happened in the initial round. For those who are like, I don't have this whole schedule memorized.
Yeah, they in week 4 they played them very close on a 3-2. Arguably Valiant threw that match. And if you remember on Ilios, they were 0-99 ult advantage. I'm like, okay, they won this. Went to the toilet, came back. Somehow Spark is winning. I had to ask people what happened with the score on the Overwatch League page. It's a very good matchup. It's a matchup between the two most improved teams so far this season, I would say. It's also a matchup that I know both teams are invested in. Like, okay, here's the thing, right? It would be very easy for Valiant to say at this point, okay, we don't really care about these stage playoffs. We want to commit to 2-2-2. It's very important that we have a bombed stage 4, so we get into these play-ins, secure them, even though they are already in reach, but they also don't have the easiest schedule. So, okay, let's take this time for the stage flows. We show up, but we practice mostly 2-2-2. That would be a reasonable decision. I don't think anyone would be mad at that, because season playoffs are considered to be by most the biggest thing in Overwatch. Also, additional exposure through the play-in tournament. Now, that's not what they're doing. Like, I have a feature interview, and I can tell you the head coach, so Packing, interim head coach at the moment, I don't have the perfect quote, but he basically said his goal is to win everything from this point. He doesn't like they are all out going on stage 3. They want to get into the play-ins, and they want to win the Overwatch League. That's what they're committing to at this point.
As opposed to
just trying to get into the play-ins and ignoring stage 3.
Sure. I mean, personally, I hope that most coaches are hoping to win out here, I guess, but I respect that, right? And coming from a team who I don't know the exact record prior to this stage. This is being really slow.
It's not been great.
It's been 0-7.
Oh, Promise is actually in the chat. The assistant coach for the. And Promise is saying, we aim for the win and nothing else.
There it is.
So, yeah.
Bet you didn't expect to just be thrown on the air like that. Hopefully you can stand by that text, because it's now public and everywhere.
Yep.
Hey, man.
And that's that competitor's mentality. You know, it's very logical for everybody to be like, oh, well, why would you want to show up to work that day when, you've already got your paycheck? Why bother, But that's not what they're paid to do. Yeah. They're paid to win.
We actually say that every time we go live with the show. We're like, why? Patrons have already been charged.
Yeah.
Why do a show?
Sure.
Here's a cool thought, though. There's a thought experiment called the Prisoner's Experiment, or Prisoner's Thought Experiment. And I'm not going to explain the entirety of the experiment, but basically what it says is that the rational answer isn't always going to be the one that gives you the best results. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the irrational answer is the best one. Right. So, for instance, okay, let's make something up. For instance, we could say, okay, let's say, for the sake of the argument, we could perfectly prove that there is no God and religion is dumb, but it could still be good to believe in a God, because it would force you to have good habits, show up, have like these introspective moments and whatnot, to help others, have like an incentive in believing in something else.
Framework, skeleton for how to live your life. Yeah.
So in that sense, maybe that's the same thing here, right?
Sure.
Maybe this mentality, while one could argue bone dry rationally is not the best one to maximize season value, is maybe the best approach in order to also get into the play-ins, because the mentality you transport to the players, to the culture that you build on, the pursuit of excellence, maybe that's actually the most rational thing.
I mean, chat got a little lost. I'm not gonna lie.
But Yiska, who wins?
Who wins, Yiska? Like that's
what we want to know.
Yiska,
I'll speak for you, Chat. I know what you want.
Let me just. Hey, Yiska, who wins this match? Let me tell you about a thing called the prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah. Don't gish gallop me.
Oh, yeah. So who's gonna win, Yiska?
Valiant. And Valiant makes it to the final.
Ooh. We're similar, but different sides of the coin.
Yeah.
All right, Joe.
I've got Spark winning and Spark making it to the final.
Ooh. Okay.
I actually, for me personally, I do have the Valiant winning, but I don't have them making the final. Sorry, dudes.
Fair enough.
Listen, I just love an underdog story so much. It probably shades my ability to accurately posture the Valiant in this match. But I'm all Valiant, man. I want to see it happen. I think that they're going to do well. I don't see them going to the grand final. Sorry, Promise. You can write your angry emails on Twitter to @YiskaOut. That'd be great. All right. I said Valiant. Lilac says, yeah.
Who do you think wins? Who do you think wins?
Yeah, we have to
stage
talk
3?
about that. Playoffs, stage 3.
Wait, what's the other side of the bracket again?
So your bracket would look like...
I think it's Titans then. I think the way it shakes out is Valiant beats Hangzhou, beats NYXL, gets into the final. Titans on the other branch. Titans wins. I think that's how it shakes out.
Yeah, probably, huh? Stage playoffs.
I've got Titans over Shanghai in the semifinal, and then Spark over Seoul in the other semi, and then Titans over Spark in the final.
So hold on here, Joe. You had Dragons over NYXL.
Yes, and then I have the Titans beating the Dragons.
Titans beating the Dragons, and then you have.
And then I had Seoul advancing from Seoul Shock. And then I have Spark advancing from Spark Valiant. So that sets up Seoul Dynasty versus Hangzhou in the bottom semifinal. And then I have Spark advancing from that. So I have Titans Spark as my final, which Titans win.
Yeah. And so for those who are wondering, why is Joe making this so complicated? There is a reseeding round in semifinals.
Oh, true. I didn't even think of that. Oh, this could be very different.
I was going to say, I thought you were accounting for that. Doesn't your...
No, I always forget
that?
about that. No, I don't think so. Mine definitely has it. It might be different.
So there's a reseeding in the semifinals where essentially the top seed plays the bottom seed and the second seed plays the third seed. So
of course.
That changes things, and let it be known that
I think
John KickedTripod, the idiot horseman, had called that out. So
yeah, I think mine stay the same.
Dream. I'm glad you and I are on the same page. I thought he was accounting for reseeding when he was talking for so long, but apparently not.
I am a blockhead. I always forget that's what they do.
Yiska and Joe are blockheads.
I will wear that proudly.
Sorry, I'm pretty much out of it today. Like I'm handling like 10 different things.
We're kind of doing our thing today, right? Like it
looks cool. Maybe
that's why it's true.
Yeah,
I still think mine are fine. Titans.
I think your reseeds. So Titans and Shanghai are.
Yeah, that would be the highest seed. They get Shanghai anyways, and then it doesn't matter for the second one, right? Am I chat?
That's why I thought you were doing the reseeding, because I was doing it in my head and I was like, I think that's right.
I think it's right, but I definitely wasn't accounting for that when I was drawing it up.
So Yiska, so with remembering the Yiska, sorry, clearly I can speak right now. With remembering the reseeding here, do you still who do you think has it going in?
So help me here, right? So first match was
Houston Titans.
Titans wins is the highest seed. Yep. New York wins. They are the highest seed in the competition, right?
So they're second highest. They go down to the lower bracket.
Yes.
So
Dynasty versus Shock.
I said Shock wins.
Okay. So they're fourth.
They're fourth, so they're technically higher, right? So
we have to.
Well, they're fourth, and then you have Valiant.
Right, Valiant would be sixth, so Valiant would move up to the upper bracket, right?
So you have Titans, Valiant.
Titans, Valiant would be your upper bracket, and then lower would be Shock and Wexel.
Yeah,
if I'm understanding it correctly, chat, please correct me if I'm wrong.
I think that's how it is, and in that case, the thing is, I don't think Valiant can get past the Titans just yet. But again, I think what the Titans did was.
Didn't you say Valiant in the finals?
Yeah,
he did before. We get reminded.
Wow. Way to do the math. Way to do the math.
Yeah, my bad.
Unbelievable. People have an expectation that we've done the math.
So Shock NYXL. Who wins that, Yiska?
Oh, wait. We messed this up.
Did we?
NYXL is number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
they would
NYXL
be
is top.
The upper bracket.
Valiant is the lowest seed then, right? Going up.
Yes,
Yep,
Valiant's
so
the lowest seed.
NYXL, Valiant, and then
Messing me up right here.
Titans Shock.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
They're in the finals again.
Fixed.
So then you have NYXL Titans.
Top upper bracket, I
Valiant.
believe so. But there again, I've said
No.
Well, no, you say
no.
Valiant beat NYXL.
What? They're not play.
Okay.
Valiant plays Spark, wins them, moves into the upper bracket because they're the lowest remaining seed in my bracket, right?
And New York is the highest seed.
Highest seed, so they would play against each other.
Yes.
Right?
NYXL
And then
Valiant.
in the lower bracket, Vancouver plays against the winner of
Shock.
Dynasty and Shock, which is Shock. So Titans and Shock play. I think the Titans win. I think the Valiant move past the NYXL.
That's what
they
I
both
said.
meet in the finals, and they're in the finals.
So
I
Valiant.
was initially right. People
Titans.
told me I was.
Oh
Like-
man.
Oh,
All
what a
right.
cluster.
We figured it out.
I hate that like it. I always forget. I'm gonna have to make a point to remember that.
See, if we went after the prisoner's dilemma and would have been a less reasonable podcast, we would have just said, it doesn't matter. Let's go to the next topic. Then we would have had a better product, let's be honest, other than exposing us as rational morons.
Complete blockheads.
Yeah.
We need to make a blockheads t-shirt. That's what we need.
Right? They've got Sideshow and Golden Boy and Bren and Reinforce have the foreheads.
Yeah.
We'll be the blockheads. I just make big
Here we go.
blockhead versions of ourselves.
Minecraft heads.
All right. Well, that was something.
Well, that was an
huh?
ordeal. That was an ordeal.
But you know what? The timing on that was actually perfect. Because we got to get out of here.
Okay.
All calculated.
Refined Bean did ask if Diva was on her way to not being key in every meta. We're going to talk about that some other time. But I acknowledge your question. And we will talk about it at some point. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead. What?
Just real quick. There was another question in the Crouches channel asking which teams will benefit the most from 222. Great topic after the stage finals.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I told him, I go, hey, we're going to talk about that just after the stage. Probably not the best for right now.
Keep sending in those questions.
For sure. Please do. Speaking of, no new patrons this week, but if you like the show, you want to throw a cup of coffee our way every month, help us reach our next goal, help us pay for things like podcast hosting and, Adobe Creative Cloud and stuff like that. All that goes a ton to helping us be able to do that and improve the show. Go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. We've got a bunch of cool perks. We're going to be doing a game night soon. Would love for you to be a part of that. So go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch to be a part. Same with 5-star iTunes reviews. You're like, you know what? I just am not wanting to give you guys money. That's totally fine. I don't blame you. 1 second. But one way you can help is go to iTunes and leave a 5-star iTunes review and leave a message. Leave a nice message. Something like, Yiska has a better hair swoop than KickedTripod. Because he does. He gets this better than I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
It's probably a lot of product. Let's be honest.
I don't actually have any product in my hair right now. Isn't that weird? So anyways, leave a message and then we can thank you on the next show. So we'd love to be able to do that. That's the best way to support the show, as well as subscribing on Twitch. We did actually have a new subscriber, Pastadactyl, resubbed with their Prime for 2 months. Thank you so much for doing that. We are going... How do I get to Discord? Thank you, Dream. Dream just posted it in the chat. It's also discord.me/Yiska out. You can go to that one anywhere. It's a little bit prettier of a link. That's it. All right, before we get out of here, though, Joe, we're going to you. Shout-outs. Where can people find you for the week? Anything else you've got going on besides TFT? Go.
You can find me everywhere at Volamel. That's Volamel. What am I working on? Kind of thinking about maybe if Soul Dynasty was to sign a new main tank, who would they sign? My guess is someone kind of interesting. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Working on another big feature piece. So that is in the works. That's being hammered out as we speak. Don't pay attention to that anytime soon. Just keep it on the radar. Maybe in a month or two. Who knows? Don't rush those things. But yeah, not too much. Just kind of chilling, getting back in the swing of things. And yeah, just stay posted.
Sweet. All right, Yiska, what about you? What have you got coming up this week? Where can people find you?
So I'm on a 1 day a piece on average schedule with Upcomer. So I'll definitely write a ton. Starting Thursday, I got vacation on the other job coming up. So I will have a ton of free time to produce content. Also leading into stage 4, whatnot. We'll try to get some scoops there. Then I have hopefully an interview coming up with Sideshow on the stage playoffs. Maybe he will be instantly smarter than us. Probably will be in figuring out these seedings, and then he will be hopefully be able to tell. No, actually, I already know I have to help him figure that out. Like, I've done a podcast with this guy. Then again, I'm not convinced we will get to meet each other tomorrow. So that's also a lesson I learned. Other than that, big feature piece coming out on the Valiant. Had a dope interview with Mike Schwartz and Packing. And I also, from a user from Discord, have a dope piece where we basically look at the statistical chances that are left in this season. So, pretty happy with the future output.
Sweet. All right, well, that's me. You can find me everywhere at KickedTripod. I've been streaming a bit more. A lot of my Hearthstone friends are making the switch to TFT, and so we've been playing together. Hearthstone pros, former and current, and so that's pretty fun. I get rolled every time. But yeah, you can find that at twitch.tv/KickedTripod. I'm everywhere else at KickedTripod as well. Twitter, Instagram, and youtube.com/KickedTripod. Besides that, though, you can find the show everywhere. Just search for Tactical Crouch or go follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/KickedTripod. And yeah, have a good week. We'll be back next week. And be good to each other, all right?